I haven't made a game in a long time, so I thought it would be a good idea to make one in 72 hours. Last weekend was Ludum Dare 53, a very popular game jam where you need to create a game based on a theme in a limited amount of time. There are thousands of participants and entries, and some of the games made are just crazy good, so the stakes are high. This was the perfect occasion for me to get back into the game dev flow and test out some ideas I have. My goal is to not crunch, so here's the plan. On day 1, I brainstorm ideas and work on the mechanics. The goal is to have a working game as fast as possible. On day 2, I work on art and game juice. Finally, on day 3, I add polish, fix a few things here and there, and finally publish. Usually, everything goes according to plan, right? Right? Okay, so at the moment, I want to quit. Sorry, what? It's pure frustration only. I don't even know what to do. Like, there's too many problems here. The jam starts at 3 AM on Saturday for me, so I discovered the theme first thing when I get up. Delivery. It's one I rated positive, but after thinking about it for a while, I'm not super pleased with it. It's too generic, and I can't see how I can make something different, not just delivering packages. My goal is to test an idea to see if it can work for a future commercial project. I start by brainstorming live with the community, and after a while, I get 2 ideas that I really enjoy. One is about a postman delivering bad news in the form of letters. Every bad news is a different attack, and you have a cool movement mechanic following the cursor. The attacks would be placed as cards in the bottom of the screen, and you could stop to throw them. The other one is a boss rush game, where you play as a delivery boy fighting its tyrannical boss using the only thing he has, a pizza box. It's a tough choice to make. I like both ideas, but after deliberating for a while, I finally decide to go with the boss rush. I like the idea because you only face one boss, so as a game dev, you can really focus all of your attention into one encounter, and I think this can be especially good for a game jam. The rest of the day, I focus on developing the mechanics of the player, so movement, jump, dash, picking up and throwing the pizza box. The goal is that you only have your pizza box as a weapon. When you throw it on the boss, you deal damage and the box bounces off things so you can catch it again, which will up the combo and deal more damage the next time you throw it. If the box hits the ground too many times, it gets destroyed, and you have to wait for a bit for it to respawn. After I have that locked in, I start working on the boss itself. During the brainstorming phase, I had the idea of having a boss with floating hands. This simplifies a ton the drawing process, but also the attack sequence later. This means I don't have to animate limbs, draw lots of images, or use a skeleton. My goal is to create a cool fight, not something that resembles reality, of course. I decide to go with 4 moves for the boss. Alternate hand slam, which goes right, left, and then both hands and head at the same time. Laser sweep, which alternates from one hand to another. Hand slam and sweep, and finally the projectiles. I limit myself to 4 because I'm afraid that if I add too much, I'm not going to be able to make it work properly. Let's fucking go! Let's go! And that ends day 1. Remember in the intro when I said I wanted to be done with the mechanics on day 1? Well, as you can see, I'm already not on schedule. Who could have known? I start the day excited to work on the boss fight. I have the hand slam working, or at least I thought, but more on that very soon. I start with the hand smash and sweep. This should be easy as it's pretty similar to the first attack I created. After working on it for a while, I realized there's a bug when I try to animate the hand of my boss. See, the boss is fully animated using an animation player, moving the kinematic body for collision. This is normally fully supported by Godot, so I didn't think much about it, but it's just not working. After a good amount of time and confusion, I finally understand that there's a bug in the engine. Okay, so it's a known bug. Player. We see it in the editor working fine. There's no physics in the editor, so it works. And as soon as you have to have the physics, then it doesn't work anymore. You can't update both the position and the rotation of your body using the animation player. At that moment, I'm a bit devastated, and I feel like this is the end of the world. or at least the end of this jam for me. Okay, so at the moment, I want to quit. I'm already not on schedule, and I'm not even sure I'll be able to do what I want with this boss. After renting for a while and seriously considering stopping everything to actually go outside and enjoy my weekend, I realized this bug is not that impactful. Instead of rotating the whole kinematic, I can just rotate the sprite and the collision shape to match the sprite. It's slightly more work, but nothing impossible, so I roll up my sleeves and update the animation. By doing that, I now realize that the first animation I did yesterday wasn't really working. It doesn't work anymore. Sorry, what? It's not even changing the rotation degrees. I animated the rotation of the hand before the slam to announce the attack, but it wasn't working as I was also animating the position. Thankfully, the rotation is just visual, so I can update the animation to animate the sprite instead. And with that, I now have 2 attacks working out of 4, and it only took 10 hours. Yay! Now I know what my limitations are, so I feel more confident, and I continue by working on the projectiles sequence. For this sequence, the boss will put his hands on top of his head, move to the bottom left corner, and 3 projectiles will fall from the top of the screen. This should be easy as there's nothing really different from the previous sequence. Spoiler alert, it was not. What happened? What was that? I'm facing weird bugs. When the 3rd projectile arrives near the center of the screen, the bot gets teleported to the middle of the screen. Then when the animation plays to move it back to the center, the boss gets moved way further. I spend hours on this. I try everything, but can't see what's happening. It seems that the missile is interfering with the boss, but the collision shape is not even at the same spot, and they are not on the same layers. The projectile is only on layer 1, so it shouldn't even touch the boss, actually. I'm getting tired. I feel like I'm making absolutely no progress. This time, I really think I'm going to quit. I might consider quitting. The goal was to test an idea. Well, I have my answer. It doesn't work. I could be doing something else with my life. It's pure frustration only. I don't even know what to do. There's too many problems here. I'm asking myself, why am I wasting my weekend on this shit project? Imposter syndrome is hitting hard. This is not just a jam for me, it's an idea I'd like to continue as a commercial project one day, and I'm not even capable of animating a simple boss attack. What am I doing with my life? After some online research, I find one post with somewhat of a similar problem. I'm seeing something here. I have an answer. It's again another bug. Let's go, Godot, let's go! In the answer, I understand that there seemed to be an engine bug where a kinematic body position is not updated if you animate its parent instead of the body itself. That's exactly what I'm doing. The solution is a bit painful, as I have to redo the movement animation to move the hands and the head separately. But again, I don't have any other solution, so I just do the work. Thankfully, after updating everything, the body seemed to be moving fine. This works, this is the easy one. And then the next one. Finally! Let's go! I'm saved again. After this rollercoaster of emotion, I'm ready to continue working on the attack sequence. I finish the projectiles and then move on to the lasers. With this one, I don't have any problem. It's pretty straightforward. I start a laser, rotate the hand to cover part of the floor, and then do the same thing with the other hand. At around 6, I'm finally done with the boss attacks. Remember, I wanted to do art and juice on day 2. Yeah, it's not going well, but the day is not over yet. I take a small break to have pizza with my girlfriend, and when I come back on stream at around 8, I finally get started on the art. I start by designing the boss. When I brainstormed on the first day, I had an idea, and so I just go with this. After a few iterations, this is how the boss looks like. It's simple, but good enough for the jam. For the player, I want something simple, again to avoid drawing limbs and complex animations, so I just start with a rounded rectangle, and after trying a few things to make it more interesting, it looks like this. I also work on a simple grid background. I want the arena where you fight to be squared, and it should not be too distracting as I want the player to focus on the battle. As I implement the art and work on some basic animations and effects, the game really started to take form. To think that a few hours ago I was going to quit, and now I start to feel good and enjoy what I'm making. This is a lesson that I will not forget. Don't judge your idea too fast. Art and juice can really make a difference. It was a long day. I clocked out at 3 AM, but finally working on the art and juice remotivated me so much. I feel more confident that I have a game which is worth something, and now it's just the exciting part. If you want to learn how to add juice to your game, check out my God of War course about that, link in the description. I start day 3 motivated to finish the game. Honestly, it kinda looked like the finished product already. It only looks finished though. I still need a title screen, a win and death screen, sound effects, music, small effects, and more juice of course, as there is never enough juice. I spent a good amount of time working on the different animations for the boss, making sure that defeating him is as satisfying as possible. I decided to not do a traditional title screen that you would use with your mouse. I like to avoid tutorials as much as possible, especially in game jams, because they're usually pretty bad. My idea is that you start in a room with no danger. Your boss is here, the box too. You can move around freely and get familiar with the controls without any stress. Where you go close to a door, it opens, and by jumping, you start. I think this is a much better way of teaching the player how to play. You're letting the player get familiar with the controls on their own, and I'm pretty sure they'll understand much better that way. I work on a lot of small details for the death and win screen, but you'll see that in the final result. At 5 hours from the deadline, I still have no sound effects and music. I don't want to neglect it, as it can really make a difference in the final experience. For the music, I don't have time to look around, so I just use a cool music from the library I gathered over the years. It's made by Abstraction, and the funny thing is, it was made for the Ludum Dare 38. We've come full circle. Check out their work, link in the description. Now comes the time to do sound effect. Let me tell you, I think I got lost for a second here. When I was brainstorming ideas on stream, I was mimicking how the attacks would go, and of course, I was doing sounds with my mouth. The community thought it would be a great idea for me to do the SFX myself. The game doesn't look too serious, and doing sounds for the boss seems like a good idea. Spoiler alert, it didn't really work out. But honestly, it was fun nonetheless, so let me show you a compilation of my tries. Mock me as much as you want. You have a pass. I don't manage to do it. My voice is hurting already. I actually got a spam in my ribs, or oh fuck. What the fuck? This was so weird. It looks like I'm going to throw up. It sounds like. No, we said ha. No. I went way too high. This was not good. Okay, this was funny, but it's not working. I've wasted like 1 hour doing that, and I still have no sound effects. I decided to go with the trusty SFXR. It's a simple program to create retro sound effects using only a few knobs. Okay, there are quite a lot of knobs, but you have buttons with predefined behaviors that can help a ton. The best part is that Timothy Q made an amazing add-on for Godot which integrates SFXR really nicely in the engine. In a few minutes, I managed to create all of the sound effects. Similarly to when I finally implemented the art, having all of the sound effects in the game really brings it to the next level. Let me give you a quick look. I mean, a quick listen. Here, I basically have the full game, and I just work on improving a few things here and there, tweak the timings, add animations when they're missing, etc. I finally submit the game close to the deadline, so at 3 AM for me. I'm really happy with the result. Of course, the game was not perfect, so I worked on the post-jam version that I'm currently showing on screen, with some fixes, more juice, etc. I let you check the game on itch, and you can get the sources on my Patreon, link in the description. Tell me in the comments what is your time to beat the boss. If you liked this, you can enjoy my latest challenge where I create the same game in 10 minutes versus 10 hours. Bye!